cycle, which is the cycle that started on the 4th of June. So the peak for the next 9 months, according to that calculation, which is only a guideline. It's not an absolute given, but it's a guideline. That peak, you can see here, I used the goal-seeking facility of Microsoft Excel to find that peak. That peak needs to be at 45.68. Let's find bar 45.68. Let me click somewhere near to where that bar might be. Oh, I hit it. That bar, as you can see here, I don't know if you can see it, but that bar is there, and I'm going to see if I can draw a circle around it. That bar is bar number 45.67 on the 4th of July, which means that 45.68 was on the 5th of July. Okay, where was the 5th of July? Let's go and let's no, let me not. Let me stick with the daily chart. 5th of July was 45.68. 5th of July was where my cursor is now. It's that bar over there. Now, I am not claiming that I've made the perfect projection or prediction here, but it is interesting. It is very interesting that the bar that I roughly calculated, okay, this is really a complete chance, I've got to tell you, but that bar happens to be the highest price that we've seen so far. Okay, and it was almost certainly the peak of the 40-day cycle. As Jose says, it's amazing, but I'm not a magician, and that really was you know, really a bit of a event. But my point, and just to wrap this whole thing up, is that by calculating the cycle shapes, there we go. By calculating your cycle shapes, and by doing this very simple calculation, you expect the bullishness of each of the sub cycles. You expect the bullishness to average the bullishness of the longer cycle. Okay, it doesn't always happen, and I would encourage you to do this. Before I created Sentient Trader, this was what I spent every free minute of my days doing, calculating cycle shape bullishnesses of all the cycle shapes, and it doesn't happen all the time. And if and the markets aren't perfect, and you often get things like what happened yesterday, but a fundamental interaction. You know, if you want to see an example of fundamental interaction, look at yesterday's price move. You know, if that isn't a fundamental interaction, I don't know what is. You know, while Ben Bernanke is giving his talk, you know, the market plunges down, forms a trough, and plunges straight back up again. There's fundamental interaction. Okay, so I've got distracted again. Okay, so I'm trying to wrap the whole thing up. What I'm saying is that it is extremely, extremely valuable that you monitor and you look at the bullishness of the shapes of your cycles. Okay, it's what Sentient Trader does behind the scenes. It's one of the things it uses to make very powerful and very accurate projections, but it's certainly something you should consider doing. So I've left out several questions. Let me go back. Mark asked me how if I can explain how to get the percentages. Yes, in fact, what I'll do is I'll go one better. Let me upload this spreadsheet for you. It's a Microsoft Office Excel. It's a very old version of Excel. This is actually a very old computer. It's one of my favorite computers, and it's a fairly old computer. It's got a very old version of Microsoft Excel, but I will upload that file. In fact, let me right now. And of course, it would help if I knew where I'd saved it. Let me just quickly upload it. I think it's there we go. Okay, in your file transfer tray, you'll find that little spreadsheet. It's called bullishness. So you can find all the formulas. So that answers Mark's question in terms of the percentages. If you've got any kind of a spreadsheet program, then you can download that. Just a few points. It's a little sheet that I use for my own personal devices, so it doesn't have all kinds of explanations. But to calculate the cycle shape, it's very simple. You type in the bar number of the first trough, the price of the first trough, the bar number of the peak, the price of the peak, and then the bar number of the second trough, and the price of the second trough. Okay, very, very, very easy, and you can calculate it, and you can do that for as many different cycles as you like. Okay, so there is that. So, Jose, averaging the 18 months would have a good idea of the 54-month shape. Yes, absolutely, Jose. I haven't done that here, but if you average the bullishness of the 18-month cycles, then you get a very good idea of the shape of the 54-month cycle. Absolutely, that's absolutely correct. Okay, and it's a very useful exercise. Sentient Trader does it all the way down to the 3-minute level because I'm obsessive. But yes, you can do all of that. Steve said, have I moved the 20-week low from the 31st of January to the 19th of December? Steve, let me see. The 20-week low. You must have very sharp eyes. In fact, I didn't move it, but Sentient Trader did move it. In fact, this spreadsheet, not the spreadsheet, this workspace that I'm working with was just a very quick spreadsheet that I set up this morning before trading started, and then I thought, let me talk about this. So don't take the analysis on the spreadsheet too personally. I haven't really looked at the analysis very carefully at all. I've just let Sentient Trader do its own thing. But let's see if I pin that 20-week trough there. I think I'll probably get analysis which is more in line with what I believe is really happening. That's an answer to Steve's question. Tom, how do you project the time? Tom, the times are projected using that spreadsheet. Yes, okay, there we go, Steve. I've moved that 20-week trough to 30th of January. Okay. But it wouldn't have changed anything we spoke about today, I don't think. Okay, how do you project the time? Tom, I use, in that little spreadsheet, I use the very simple process of projecting forward using the bar numbers. That's how I do it. I use bar numbers, so you don't have to do any time calculations. So what you must do is simply read the bar numbers of Sentient Trader. The bar numbers you can read off from the bottom left-hand corner of your chart. Okay, those are the bar numbers when you hold your mouse over there. Or if you double-click on your chart, of course, then you can read the bar number from that little box. Okay, and if you want to get rid of that box, you click inside the box, and that gets rid of the box. And that's why you should be enabled while you're doing a webinar. Okay, there we go. So that's bar 26, 2506, and so on. And let me just click there and close it. Okay. And Nathan asks, how is the same number of first 18 months bar number and first 40-week bar number? Okay, Nathan, why are those numbers the same? Those numbers are the same because the first 40-week cycle, remember troughs are synchronized? Okay, so the first 40-week cycle trough will be the same 18-month cycle trough. Okay, similarly, trough number 2 is the same as of the second 40-week cycle is the same as trough number 2 of the 18-month cycle. Take a look at the new videos we've got in our learning zone about things, and remind yourself about how troughs are synchronized. It's an absolutely vital aspect of everything we're doing here in terms of the troughs being synchronized. There we go. And I do apologize, I didn't get to the euro, and I'm afraid we have really really run out of time. Okay, gosh, I've missed a whole lot more questions. Can you send us okay, could you screenshot of the spreadsheet in your weekly analysis? Bart, in terms of a screenshot of the spreadsheet, I'll consider it. I think it might be a little bit above the heads of most of our readers who are looking for a Hurst analysis, but I'll think about it. I will be. I saw somebody, Tom, am I going to be doing the weekly outlook during the vacation? Yes, I am. I'm going to be working throughout the summer. But the markets are going to keep trading, and I think the summer is going to be very interesting. So I wouldn't miss it for anything. So I will be writing ST Outlook, but we will be breaking on these trader chats. And Jose, would you please explain again the goal seek function? Okay, I'll get there in a moment. Does that mean that the 5-hour cycles all follow? Okay, yes, sorry, Mark, you asked about the 5-hour cycles. Yes, the 5-hour cycles follow a similar pattern of decay, and here we are. Here is a 5-minute bar just to demonstrate it to you. The 5-hour cycles follow a similar pattern of decay, but there's something that I would like to point out to you. What I've noticed with the cycles of 5-hour, with the cycle shapes for 5-hour cycles, is that you very often have to choose one of them. Okay, here's a 5-hour cycle. Here's a 5-hour cycle. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you very often have to find one of them. Okay, and then you will find that you get a bearish shape, a bullish shape, a less bullish shape. Okay, then you get a bullish shape, so the decay reverses there, and then you get those shapes there. What it means, and I don't have time to explain it properly, but what it means, although you have a 5-to-1 ratio, one of these doesn't obey the rules. One of them doesn't obey the rules. You need to imagine that there's a kind of a half-day cycle trough in there. And that half-day cycle trough will always either be there after the second cycle or there after the third cycle. Okay? It'll always be after the second cycle or after the third cycle. That is where the half-day cycle, if you like, trough has occurred. And you know it has happened because one of these cycles breaks the rule in terms of the decay of cycle shapes. And this is the cycle in this case that breaks the rule. Okay? So what happens is you get bullish, less bullish. Then suddenly you get bullish again, more bullish. Okay? Broke the rule, and so that's how that happens. And then you get a decay into the final trough. Okay, that was a very rushed answer, Mark, but I hope that explains that. Okay. It really is time for me to wrap up. It's been a very long trader chat. I've enjoyed it tremendously. We got to speak about lots of numbers and lots of cycle shapes. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time. Thank you for joining me on today's trader chat. I look forward to seeing you not next week. Please bear in mind we're taking our summer holiday. I'm not going to be here next week. I plan to be on the beach. I will see you as soon as we get back from our summer holidays. Look out for our exciting announcements. We are going to be doing something different after our summer holidays, and I think it's going to be great. So, I look forward to hearing from you after the holidays, seeing you after the holidays. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you after the break. We will all be here. Our staff are all going to be here throughout the summer holidays. We have allowed them a few hours off here and there. So if you have any issues,